All right, hello and welcome to Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast sponsored by Draftkings Sportsbook, All Access GTE, and also our friends at Comcast Business as we get back into the golf outing season. Who they're a big part of it. Comcast Business introducing ultimate speed for business, the fastest internet plans yet from Comcast Business, powering possibilities. We're talking about powering our own possibilities. Danielle, welcome back. We talked about our own, how we're going to kind of make it a little bit more personal about our individual golf journeys. And, I was away 2 weeks ago in Casa de Campo. You were away last week. Tell the people about Casa de Campo. Talk to us about your experience, the golf, everything about it.
I mean, for where do we start, right? Like, I'm like, is this like a country of itself? Like, is this an island? Like, I
You
was
can't
like,
describe it to anyone.
I'm
It's crazy.
you can't because you were trying to describe to me and give me like all of your tips were so helpful, by the way. Thank you. But I was like, you really can't like describe it or explain it to anybody. And I was saying to Brandon, like every part that we went, I was like, is this still Casa? He's like, yes. And I'm like, we drive like 20 more minutes. And I'd be like, we're still Casa, right? And he's like, yeah. So I mean, everything from the golf to the food to the views, the spa. I mean, the spa was incredible. But yeah, we played teeth and we played die. And I was really excited for teeth at first. I was like, okay,
Sure.
this is going to be amazing. Like everybody talks about it, like incredible Pete dye layout, like very easy to see why it's, the best rated in the Caribbean. Beautiful views on the ocean there. The conditions were incredible. They actually told me they're doing a redo in January. So it'll be closed for a little bit, but it was pretty cool
Wow.
to get to play that. But I did feel like, okay, like this, don't get me wrong, like beautiful, incredible teeth. I was like, this is great. But it wasn't like I felt like I was somewhere else with the palm trees and everything else. I'm like kind of Florida-esque. But I'll tell you what, when we got to die four, like pulling up
It's
just
crazy.
to where I'm like, look at these views, like it's just the undulation of everything, like the
You're
rivers,
so
the
high up.
mountains, like,
Hmm.
and you feel like you're not. I didn't feel like I was in Florida. I didn't feel like I was in the US. I was like, wow, we're somewhere else. Like it was amazing. Like dramatic golf course. It literally makes you quickly forget like where you're at in the world. I wasn't like, oh, okay, like I'm in Florida. Like teeth, I was like, okay, like I'm in the Caribbean, but like
Right.
die for big modern course, great for me. At first I thought I was going to career it, wide open fairways so I could hit it wherever. And I'm like, this is amazing. It's going to be like, the best golf I've ever played. And then, I got 4 flat tires, but,
Did
um,
you play both rounds, full rounds?
so full transparency, I played all 18 on teeth. And then we played, what is we
The
played
links?
Marine, no, on die, the
Oh,
first one.
die Marina.
And what's the other one in the
There's
front?
Siobhan.
Siobhan. So we played
Yeah.
Siobhan and then we played Marina. And I think I took off like 15. I think I hit my is 15 that par three. I think I took off, like I hit a shot and it went right like to the bunker. And I just told the caddy, I'm like, pick it up. And then I took off. So like the second half of 15, 16, and 17. And then I finished up 18. So I
How'd
was
Brandon
just
play?
he played well and he loved it too. He
He
was
loved
like,
it.
wow, this is crazy. And it was fun even before we played teeth or die, like right outside of like the hotel. We went to the practice facilities. I'm like just in a dress and sandals, like chipping around. Like it's just it's like an adult golf paradise, if you will. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we could talk all day about it, I'm sure. And we need to. We need
And
to
you saw
catch up on
Robert?
it. We
You
did. He is so nice. And I met his wife. I didn't see his daughter, which, I was like, hey, she got a hole in one. We need to speak to his daughter. But Robert was incredible. That's who told me about like the upcoming redo. So
yeah.
really nice. And we talked to him. We're like, okay, we got to get back. Brandon was obviously talking to him about like pro-am events and stuff that are coming up. So maybe we have to do a swing it and ding it trip there.
Maybe. Harry, it's funny, like playing with Brandon. We've all played with guys that are like really good. And I'm sure
Yeah.
you're playing from different tees, right? It's like, but it's so cool when you play with guys that like really know what they're doing. It could be intimidating, but like you're probably so used to it by now, Danielle, where it's like, all right, he's hitting and then you're driving for a little while, then you're hitting.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like, and maybe that's why I maybe enjoyed die a little bit more because our caddy on like teeth, I didn't exist. He was caddying for Brandon, and I was just like sitting in the car. He's like some pregnant lady in the car. And it was like, hey, stop at the red tees, or like, can I hit? Like, you know what I mean? He was just like, he's like to Brandon, he's like, what's your handicap? So it was funny. But the second day, like when we played at Die, like the caddy was great, and we had good banter. Him and I teamed up, and we're making fun of Brandon a little bit. But yeah, I guess I do kind of lose some of that sometimes. Where like I'm like, Brandon's like 6 under, going into 8, and I'm like 6 over, and I'm like, oh, okay, like it's fine. Yeah.
Harry, we had another beautiful weekend here in the Delaware Valley. It's like every weekend here. Even the nicest weeks we have the worst weekend weather. And I know you had some plans.
Yeah.
I know we know you had to. Did you make it out there?
Well, we played Friday. It was a big wedding at the 1912 Club for one of the guys that plays a lot of golf there, and we had a big thing for him on Friday with 6 groups of 4 going out. We had a ball. The weather, it wasn't great, but we got it in. And then Saturday, I had a round scheduled with a guest and 2 other members of the club, and we walked off after 9 holes because it was so cold and rainy. And I'm just like, we were all just like collectively just sick of this. Like we're like, screw this. This is not fun. I got a wedding to go to later in the day, which was an absolute shit show, which literally it lasted from 4:00 in the afternoon till long after midnight.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a total like wood. It was like Woodstock. It was unbelievable. But anyway, the golf.
Oh, he's still recovering.
The golf wasn't great. It's getting better this week. I got a lesson plan tomorrow. It's going to be 80 some, or close to 90 degrees, I think. And then
wait, do you know why it's going to be so beautiful tomorrow? I got a flight into Philly tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
I'm bringing it with me. I put it in his suitcase. I'm like, I got something for Harry.
There you go.
He's done with the rain. I'm going to bring him some sunshine.
Yeah, and then this weekend's not looking great again.
No,
right?
it's bad.
That's because I go to New York.
60s, the mid 60s are fine, but it's just a lot of rain coming.
So I should pack a jacket for this week.
Yeah.
It's been chilly on the weekends. Yeah, I got a round in finally at the Legacy Club. Did not play well. I'm brand new, first round out with the PXGs. I need to keep working on them. Harry,
did you go down and get fitted at that new spot?
Oh yeah. Yep. We're talking to those guys about doing some stuff together. Hopefully we could put an event to get out there for one of the majors, which would be fun. But Harry, have you always had the same swing, like draw, fade? Like have you been consistent for a while now?
Pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty much a slight draw.
Yeah,
that I've had.
Yeah, I've thought that's what I was, but now I don't know.
You have a fade, or you're just poking it? Like,
or when I've always set up for a fade with my driver, and I hit a better shot, and then I was hitting more of a draw with my irons, which is pretty nuts. But I find myself, maybe it's the new clubs. When I opened up, it was some of my best shots when I hit like a little bit of a fade.
Well, I mean, you've got so much more length than I do. For you, a fade would be perfect.
Too, with that swing,
yeah,
it really would.
Yeah. So I might just work on that for a little bit.
Just
how it feels.
Play it.
I'd like to just hit the ball and not worry about it, and just where it goes. But we gotta
play around with you guys, because when we were out there, I was like, we actually B didn't bring all of his clubs. We brought my clubs, and he just put like his driver in there. He used my putter. He put a couple of his like irons and wedges in there just to like. We just kind of played a couple of the same clubs. Well, not that I can hit his shafts, but at one point I was like, I hate this driver. I'm like, this driver sucks. I can't hit it, like whatever. And he looked at, he's like, the face is so closed. And I'm like, well, fix it. And he had taken my little tool out before we left, the wrench. So it starts raining. He goes in one of the pockets and he finds a wrench and then fixes my driver.
They're
he
universal.
Opens it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And but I guess I had 2 in my bag for some reason. He opened it up a little bit and he told me, he's like, shorten it. Like he just gave me a couple swing thoughts, tweaked it. And he's like, just try to hit it like 5 yards in front of you instead of trying to like Hulk smash. There we go. And I was like, okay. And I figured it out. And I finally, he's like, isn't it fun you're hitting fairways? And I'm like, yeah, but I just feel like I'm like swinging like a little girl. Like, because you know what I mean? Like I'm losing my speed. I'm not like, I'm shortening my backswing, like everything else. But I listened to him for a couple holes and I was finding the center of the fairway. But then when I started getting back to my own ways, I was spraying it over.
Yeah. It happens. It happens. So Harry, you got the lesson. tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And then what else? You have Trump National this week too.
Yeah, I got Trump National Philadelphia on Friday.
Okay.
So looking forward to that at like 1:30 in the afternoon.
Nice.
And,
nice. Yeah, I'm
Hopefully
getting out to
the weather's-
Bala. I have two client golf outings. It's the way I try to book clients to play golf with. So I'm playing
absolutely.
Bala
Are they
this
this
week, and
weekend?
then playing tomorrow. I'm tomorrow morning playing Bala, and then Friday morning playing with the Comcast guys at my club at Legacy. So weather looks okay, right? Friday looks all right. Not
Yeah,
too bad.
looks okay. Yeah. Chance of rain, but
got to get it in
it'll be
before
all right.
Mother's Day. Before Mother's Day
I
weekend.
was going to say, if
'cause
you
then
guys
you're
want to
like,
drive up to Scranton and play with us, I know it's a
oh, is that
hike.
what you're coming in for Mother's Day?
Well, we have a couple things that are going on. So like with the NEPA Invitational, like the charity coming up, we have a board meeting. I
Okay.
have a client who's opening up an indoor golf simulator / bar restaurant in Scranton. Once that's
wow.
ready to go, we'll get them on. So
Yeah.
going to check that out and then see my family. And then they're hosting my baby shower on Mother's Day. So a legit
No way.
Mother's Day for me. Yeah. But
Wow.
yeah, like B's like, yeah, ask them if they would have come up. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to drive 2 hours. It's a hike, but you guys are welcome.
Wow. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So we were talking about it briefly before we came on, but the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson, Taylor Pendrith, I feel like he's been like on people's list for a while of like getting the win. He gets his first win, fifth first-time winner already this season, right?
Yeah.
It's been kind of a theme, but he steps onto the 18 green trailing by one shot, right? And a guy who hasn't made a bogey all day in Ben Coles.
Yeah.
Yep.
Flawless card. He has like 5 birdies and like one shot lead heading into 18.
He birdied 16 and 17, right?
Yeah.
And then he misses a little bit. He's off to the right. He's in some rough, and he just kind of duffs the chip coming out.
Kind of decelled into it, duffed it. Yeah.
I mean,
and then left it in the rough before the green. Like, probably would have preferred it falling back into the bunker because then he knows how he's going to hit it out of there.
Right.
But now he's still in the tall grass and he's got to chop it and he's pretty much got to go beyond the hole. And,
he goes to 5 foot 6 inches. Right? That's where he gets it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, was it 5? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that second shot
5.5 feet
in that rough and you see the club turn down because of like such a terrible lie. And it's like, takes that bounce and I'm like, oh my God, he has like, I thought it was like 4.5 feet. I'm like, to save par, like imagine that pressure.
Yeah.
I can't for your first PGA Tour win. And then you see him miss and he mouths to his caddy. He's like, went left.
Yeah.
Like, like story of my life. But I'm like, for your first PGA Tour win, that was devastating. But I mean, I have a feeling we're going to see him. He's the reigning Korn Ferry Tour Player of the Year. We're definitely going to be seeing him top of the leaderboards.
Yeah, he was impressive. I was pulling for him, and not that I was pulling against Pendrith, but I really was wanting at the beginning of the day to see Jake Knapp get number 2, and you could kind of tell out of the gate that I am that he didn't really have his A game.
Still got a top 10 though. What he finished solo 7 or 8?
Yeah, he did, but like his off the tee, he just started losing it after he made a birdie
going left
10.
on him, right?
Yeah, everything was going left.
Yeah,
and like it was almost like he was just sort of casually going through it. The body's stopping and everything's going left. It was really strange to see a pro do that. He made bogeys at 12 and 13, and that pretty much ended his day. But it was drama. I mean, I wasn't the broadcast. I watched it all day because it was pouring rain the whole freaking day. There was nothing else to do but sit on the couch, drink, and watch golf. And because the NBA game sucked, even though it was a game 7, there was nothing going there. So really had
you were exhausted from being up watching Live Golf Singapore
I was watching a little bit of that though. I was. I had a lot of eyes on Brooks Koepka.
Okay. But wait, Harry, I got to ask
you. And Cam Smith, too. Had a good
I got to ask you, if we take it back to the CJ Cup, what about 16-year-old Chris Kim and finishing 65th? Like, I don't even think the kid can drive yet.
No, I don't think he can.
Making a PGA Tour cut. And his swing, did you get a chance to watch that at all?
I saw it one shot, and then I saw him being interviewed.
Too much coverage, but
yeah.
On Twitter, take a look at the swing. For a 16-year-old, it's impressive.
Yeah, what a story. I mean, I wasn't even aware of him. He's from England, but kid. When he was getting interviewed, he seems like he's like 25 years old. I mean, he doesn't seem like a 16-year-old. Like he's way beyond his years. He has
to have had some media training or something, because he Ryder Cup, he defeated like the number 1 in the world. So I mean, he's definitely been in the spotlight a little bit, but first PGA Tour event, making the cut and finishing 65th. That's impressive.
That is pretty impressive. The other thing that was impressive was Pendrith, who's got all kinds of power. He gets it to 18 in 2, which he had to because he knew he was a shot down. But how about the lag putt that he made from 41 feet? He lollies that thing down there to 3 feet, and you're like, man, that's a sure birdie. So now, that puts pressure on Coles to execute that shot. And then when he duffed it, you kind of knew, like, man, we're not even going to get a playoff unless he pretty much holes this thing. Like, what?
Yeah.
And then you got the President's Cup coming up in Montreal, right?
Yep.
Here
Pendrith will be on that squad.
He's got to
No
be
doubt.
on this. He's got to be on it. Especially, I mean, I thought he had a chance before, but he's got to be on it now.
He's definitely on there. Pendrith, Nick Taylor, Connors, they're all going to be on that squad.
Yeah. What a nice guy.
They're all Kent State guys.
How about that? Yeah. Mackenzie Hughes too, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Not Nick Taylor, but you're right. Mackenzie Hughes, Pendrith, and Connors all went to Kent State.
Yeah. How about we were looking at Daniel Berger, right? Because he had some success here. He gets
a good week.
13, right? Pretty good week. So maybe, his injuries. I mean, he's somebody I've really been keeping an eye on because I really enjoyed watching him play back, when things were good and he was healthy. He made a Ryder Cup team, right? And then the injury bug, man. I mean, it can get anybody.
That kid. Yeah. And he's one of the favorites this week, I believe, in Myrtle Beach. There's a couple of guys at the top of that leaderboard, and he's one of them, along with your boy EVR.
Oh yeah,
EVR at the top of the board.
I like him. He's enjoyable to watch. He's fun.
Big mustache now. Right?
Maybe that's it.
That's what you need.
Yeah. He looks like, and so I'm not claiming this. Someone posted. He looks like if you walk into like a hipster bar in Brooklyn, like he's there, he's spinning a cocktail for you.
Right.
He's got that.
Making you like a Manhattan or something.
Yeah. A drink that takes 15 minutes. You're like, just put an ice cube in it.
Come on.
Yeah,
he does.
Another guy, Alex Noren, who a lot of people like going into this.
He's been trending. Yeah.
Finishes third place. He's definitely been trending. I know he was a very popular pick last week, and you can see why, right? The guy could play. It's just another one of these guys that like you could see that breakthrough. But you see the information about the ratings this week about how bad they are, and Harry, we talked about it. You kind of can feel it all over the place, like the signature events, the majors, and then everything else is just flat, right? You have all the guys that are on live that aren't playing in this that will at least give you more talent. It just feels weird right now. Yeah. And I don't know what's going to happen.
What they've done now with these signature events, which are great because that's when you get to see all the great players play, but it's made these other events, these poor other events are now the Boca Raton Bowl. Seriously, like, with college football,
you're not excited about the inaugural Myrtle Beach Classic?
No, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's like the Bahamas Bowl. It's on at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Wednesday during, Christmas week, and nobody cares.
It's like 7 days before New Year's. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's too hard. I love gambling on golf, but it's not the kind of gambling you can do where you're taking the winner, the overs, right? You got to pick players and finishers, right? It's a blast, and we love doing it, but it's not like betting on a bowl game, to your point, Harry.
Yeah. And the broadcast, I mean, I watched a lot of it, probably more than most. Man, did that drag. There was no Nance. There was no Trevor Immelman. They both get the week off, which, okay, fine. They deserve a week off. But, man, it's too much Ian Baker Finch. Too much Dottie Pepper, even though she's very good. Yeah, Colt Knost, I know you're not a fan of him. The director is so lazy because all they do is focus on the one freaking group, the final group. Every now and then they'd show you somebody else making a golf shot. I'm like, oh, there are other people on the golf course. Imagine that. The round took 5 hours and 20 minutes. I mean, God.
Yeah.
Speaking of coverage,
shot.
Danielle, stop me if this is in your tea, but speaking of coverage, we see the rolled out coverage for the U.S. Open. What are your thoughts?
Me, Harry, yeah,
both.
Well, Brandel.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I love seeing facts in
there.
We're
talking about facts. That's why. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to leave that for Danielle.
No, not in my tea. Actually, because I knew about it ahead of time, but I shared it with you guys via text, but him telling me because I'm going over schedules, everything else, trying to figure out where we're shooting, what times, everything else. And he's like, oh, and the Olympics. And I was like, I didn't even know he was covering the Olympics. It was just oversight. And I'm like, that's incredible. Are you excited and everything else? So, I mean, but the amount of prep work I think that he does, and why, like, Ian Baker Finch, everybody, not saying, they don't do prep or anything else, but I think Brad just puts so much time and effort in just being a tour player previously and having all that experience. I mean, Ian was too, but it's just, I don't know, maybe it's the storytelling, the prep work that goes into it. Like, I'm excited anytime Brad, and maybe we're all biased, but I think Brad does a tremendous job with TV coverage. Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, and I think he's honest, and I think he, like, he's told Brandel what he thinks in the past. He's told other people, like, he's not just a robot, which is what I like about him. Like, he gives you obviously a great perspective, but he also gives you opinion, which is the key in all of this,
Yeah, because you want to be entertained. You want to hear something. You don't want someone that just is like a yes man and is like, yes, of course, Brandel. Like, you know what I mean? And yes man and goes along with everything.
Yeah, but
we need Barry Mays on the broadcast.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that'd be great. But yeah, that Byron Nelson tournament used to be one of the big ones on the calendar. Like back in the 90s and early 2000s, going way back to the 80s. That was almost like the precursor to the WM Phoenix Open as far as the party atmosphere that used to exist there, and the amount of tour players, the big name tour players that would go and play it. It used to be big, and it's just been so minimized because of, signature events. It's not one where it is in the schedule. Like, guys want to take weeks off because they know they got a signature and then a major, and it's really a shame. $20 million
purse. I'd want to make sure I'm prepping well too.
Yeah, it's really a shame what's happened to this one, because it used to be great. You had no Scheffler because of obviously the impending pregnancy, which
no baby
still
yet,
hasn't happened yet. Let's induce Meredith, please, so Scotty can play in the PGA.
We can make some
for God's
money.
sakes. No, Spieth misses the cut. He's playing like absolute ass right now. He's missed, I think, 4 of his last tournaments. He's missed the cut. And really? Zalatoris withdrew with a back issue that he wants to make sure he's right for this week and next week, which I get.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of star power that either wasn't there, should have been there, wasn't there, or missed the cut. And it was really a shame what happened. And how many BB Go ads can I watch? I love BB Go dumplings. I've eaten a billion of them. They're terrific. Okay, I love them. But my God, get 2 or 3 more commercials. I can't watch the same commercial twice in an ad break.
Yeah, that's an outrage. As an outrage. As an advertising person, that's.
I know you know this.
Who is your producer?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
God,
taking that money, just taking that bag from Korea. Right.
I'm still watching this girl go. Like, what is happening there?
Oh, easy, Mike. You're gonna have to clip that one.
Yeah,
that's what they were doing.
Looks like a shake weight commercial.
I saw 6,000 times.
We got a new endorsement. I love it.
Oh my God,
Danielle, save us with some tea, please.
You got it. Oh my goodness. So we'll talk about Brooksy getting his 4th live win in Singapore, which is now the most of any live player. And rumors are starting that maybe Brooks cares about a little bit more than just major championships. He's obviously getting in prime condition to defend at the PGA Championship.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so we'll say there's a handful of other live players that received invites to the PGA Championship. Patrick Reed being one of them, Dean Burmester, Morank, Lucas Herbert. Louis Oosthuizen said he received an invite, but he declined it due to personal commitments.
Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. Maybe his wife's pregnant. I don't know.
How about that?
Right? Interesting. Because at first everybody, there was like all this like kind of drama on Twitter, like, oh my God, like they shunned him. Why didn't he get the invite when like, David Few and everybody else is getting it? And he's like, no, I got one, but I declined it because of personal commitments. So who knows? Nelly Korda, who was seen at the Met Gala, she will attempt to earn her 6th consecutive win at the Cognizant Founders Cup.
By the way.
Yes, I know. It's because we're used to just seeing like the girls in the golf club, golf clothes and everything else. And you're like, oh, wow. Okay. Like she can dress up, she can change and, look a little bit different.
She looked better than Ben Simmons.
Better than most.
That's stiff.
We do have to talk about this. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but Flushing It on Twitter, they tweeted, never has there been a more obvious example of the immediate issue that Liv faces than today. And he went on to basically say like the Volvo China Open was played for $2.25 million purse, and several players qualified for the PGA Championship of Valhalla. But he's like, Live Golf Singapore played for a purse more than 10 times that amount with a bunch of the best players of this generation, but 0 of them qualified, et cetera, et cetera. So he goes on talking about that and then says, Live can have the grandest of plans for their future, but getting players access to major championships should be their number one priority. And then Phil responds, did you guys see this?
No.
Okay. Oh, yeah. He goes, maybe some Live players will be missed, but what if none of the Live players played? Would they be missed? What about next year when more great players join, or the following year? At some point, they will care and will have to answer to sponsors and television. And the most Phil response of all time, oh my goodness, FAAFO. And you know what that
FAFO, yeah.
Yep. So that was pretty great. And I was
interesting take. And then he got ripped for for all of that too, right?
So of course.
Oh yeah. They were like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah. Now you're saying.
And then they actually asked him in like a media press conference after, and they're like, Phil, like, do you think like, you're good on social or this or that or whatever? He's like, no, just sometimes I say dumb and it just goes viral. So that was pretty funny. Down here in my neck of the woods in South Florida, it was Rosie, the inaugural Pro-Am was played. So Tim Rosafort, one of the most prolific golf journalists of all time. I know, studying at Temple, I was always like, wow, Tim is absolutely incredible and always looked up to him. I actually had the opportunity to meet him a few times. He works out with one of my clients down here. He got to know B pretty well throughout the years as they worked out at the same gym. And he did like a story on Brendan for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. So we knew Tim. It was great. Getting to know him over the years, but then they did this Pro-Am for him at the Floridian. So I got to show you how great is this hat. Like,
oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah. It's a rope hat too.
The rope hat, the Rosie with the rose. They gave such great stuff out for it, but inaugural, Pro-Am, Brandon played in it. Our guy Fax played in it. Ken Kennerly and Bob Ford, they sit on the board. And it raised over $200K for scholarships that were close to Tim's heart. So I thought that was pretty cool. That was something that was kind of under the radar, but it was at the Floridian, which is a great course. I got to talk to B a little bit about it, which was really cool. And then one other thing I wanted to suggest to you guys, I don't know if you guys and or our listeners are open to it, but the Wells Fargo, this is the last year of the Wells Fargo's deal with the tour. So it will be called something different next year. So I thought if all of our listeners want to like help chip in and we can somehow raise 15 million, we can call it the Swing It and Ding It next year.
There you go.
You guys on board?
Yeah, the iHeartMedia Swing It, right? Yeah. As long as we can consider it iHeart, then I'm fine. Yeah. Make a couple calls.
I'll make that
Powers can make that happen too.
Exactly.
Thank you, Powers.
Yeah. No, he's got that. He's got that covered.
But it's interesting though, like you talk about the guys getting the invites to the PGA from Live. I mean, Puig, he won 2 times on the Asian Tour and had a couple of other top 10s in the last year in those other events. Like he's sort of like Neiman, where he went outside of the tour to try to get points and get noticed. And I, they obviously recognize that. But the Taylor Gooch thing is really interesting because he hasn't really performed all that well in the few events that he's played outside of Live. But he was a 3-time Live Tour winner, and I guess the Player of the Year or whatever year.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a recognition of performance on Live to let him into this tournament, which I think is really interesting because
it is interesting.
It kind of tells me that there's sort of a loosening, of the grip, so to speak. Like they're sort of like saying, well, maybe we, you know what I mean? Like it's
Harry. Yeah. No, I had the same exact
I think
thought.
It's kind of good.
Yeah.
You want to see all these
like
guys come together.
Yeah. Somebody on that board or whatever was like, hey, like, let's shake it up a little bit. Let's add a few more. Let's see what it does to the ratings. Let's see if, you know what I mean?
But it's funny. Did you hear Gooch in his press conference? They were talking about qualifying and all the guys, Coke Rack saying where he's going to qualify for the US Open and where this one's going. And Gooch is like, nah, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Just like now again, they all started laughing, right?
Yeah.
And then he's the one who gets into the PGA Championship, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, because people were like talking about, they're like, you're playing so well right now. Like, why would you not qualify and everything else? And he was just, no.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
bring up Kokrak. He's one of those guys that everybody has forgotten about.
oh yeah,
He won at
Yeah.
Colonial a couple of years ago on the tour. He got that big Chevy Camaro or whatever the car was, and he's wearing
he was
the
hot for
plaid
a while.
jacket. He was hot for a little while. Then he goes to live and has totally gone in the dark.
Yeah, I mean, Pat Perez. Has anyone seen or heard from
Sell
Pat
your
Perez?
soul.
Has anyone heard from Ian Poulter?
Kevin Na, another guy.
Are the Majestics doing anything? Right. It's
Right.
still like the people you care about, right? It's still Brooks, right? You want to know what John Rahm's doing. You want to, what some of these other guys are doing. But
Cam Smith,
And they hid Brooks Koepka's kid's face until he won, and then once he won, they're like, okay, now we can show everybody what his face looks like.
Yeah, good moment for Brooks.
Yeah.
Definitely humanized him a little bit because he had seemed so like even with Jenna, he seemed like he's Brooks. He's not dealing with this crap, right?
And now he's a dad, and he held up his kid,
Yeah.
And
he almost looked normal for a couple minutes. Good for him. Good for Brooks. So I put out some more information about the golf outing. We had a little surge on signups this week, so I keep saying it, but it's going to get closed out at some point soon because we are right there, and we want to make sure we save room for our celebrity friends to play in it again, like they did last year for sure, because that's a lot of fun. All right, we talked about Brooks. Did you guys watch the Tom Brady roast by any chance?
I did not.
No, I seen just.
It is long, but it is hilarious.
3 hours.
3 hours, but they let those guys go. They let the comedians be comedians. They did not hold back. It was hilarious. It was incredible.
Was Belichick good?
Belichick was actually.
I heard he was great.
Really good.
He's funny, actually.
He is.
I need to watch it back.
He took, but like Nikki Glazer, Tony Hinchcliffe killed. Like there were a couple guys that killed, but then there's like who's next, and you hear Tiger says that he would be willing to do it, which is shocking to me.
Incredibly shocking.
Awesome. Can you imagine Tiger Woods roast? I mean, there is material on material, like these comedians.
Or Phil would be good too.
Phil would be good, but
Phil would be good to roast Tiger.
Right.
Well, you would wonder if he would come out for that, but like, do you think Tiger could handle that?
I don't know.
I mean, if I was his PR manager, I would say absolutely not. You're not doing that. You know what I mean? Especially when like that whole doc came out, like he was like, I had nothing to do with that and everything else. But like, I mean,
it was no, I don't know if it was.
What did Brady make? Like 30 million from it? I saw something where they were paying him like a guaranteed big nut. Yeah. Yeah. I'd go get my nuts roasted for 30 million. I'd do it for 300,000.
You do it every week on the golf course with your buddies anyway.
Well, that's true,
right?
Yeah, Harry's like, fine, my number's 1,000. Just do
$40.
Right. You might as well. But I don't know if that was like BS or what when I saw Tiger said he would be willing to do it. Maybe that was just a BS story, but it made me think like, would he ever do it? And
wow,
how great would that be?
I mean, there's like 5 topics already that I could be like,
oh, it's a no-brainer. It's
like he's getting destroyed. He would get destroyed.
And if you watch the Tom Brady one, there was no holding back. I mean, they were talking about Giselle every other second.
Yeah.
Like about the cryptocurrency thing, scamming people out of money, deflating the footballs, cheating.
Oh, the deflate. He roasted himself about Deflategate, right?
He basically said he did it. Yeah. But very, very, very interesting. Make sure you check out the link to our Instagram bio has a lot, right? It obviously has ways you can watch our show. It has the link directly to the golf outing to sign up. It also has the link directly to our special portal with all. Why can't I say the word portal? I say porter every other. Yeah. The all access GTE. So head to the link in our bio. Our listeners can unlock the golf experiences you've always dreamed of. Danielle and I talked about Casa de Campo, right? We're talking about Ireland coming up for the Ryder Cup. Like this is the stuff you need to start planning now. There is nothing better, especially a guy's golf trip. Like the group chat and the talk about the golf trip is almost kind of outdoes the golf trip in a way when you get there. But these guys take care of everything. They have decades of experience in crafting unforgettably tailored golf adventures, from casual outings to luxurious getaways. Talk about St. Andrews, talk about any of the places you want to go. They can make it happen. Elevate your golf experience with All Access GTE. Head to the link in our Instagram bio for a special portal for our listeners to unlock the golf experiences you've always dreamed of. Check that out. It's there. One and done contest, Harry. I had to go Max Homa this week.
Oh, wow.
I went home. He's
Yeah.
had some success here.
Well, he's won there.
Yeah.
Once.
Yeah, I had to go for it. And then our DraftKings contest. There's still room. We wanted to do one. We know it's tough
I'm
before the
in.
week of a major, but it's good to get a little warm up, guys. You got to like get your
Yeah.
lineup. See how you're going to get ready for next week. We'll do it big next week, but yeah.
I'm
looking
in,
forward
and
to that.
Max Homa may be in my lineup because he's
Hey,
won there
now.
once before. That was his first win actually on tour, was at this golf course, and then he won the tournament again when it was in Maryland, when I was walking around with Danielle.
That's what I said, Harry. Our anniversary is coming up.
That week, Max Homa won also.
That's right. That's right.
And Ricky Fowler got his first win on tour here. Rory McIlroy got his first win on tour here and has won here 3 times.
You see, they're talking about the Rory Shane curse now. They're like, are they cursed because everybody who has won at
Zurich?
Yeah, at the Zurich hasn't won like for the rest of the year. Like, did they curse themselves?
Oh, God.
It's so funny how like
I'd hate to see that happen.
Come on, Harry, you love Rory.
Yeah, you love Lowry.
Oh, yeah.
They're your true favorite on tour.
Oh, absolutely.
But let's take a quick break. We'll be right back to take a look at the Wells Fargo Championship. I also want to take a look ahead at the PGA Championship odds to see if there's been any movement. Be right back. All right, welcome back to Swing It and Ding It as we take a look ahead to the Wells Fargo Championship. Before we do, though, let's jump here now because there has been some movement. Obviously, with Koepka winning, it took a little while, Harry. I feel like it took like if you're a Brooks guy, you had a day or two even after his win where his number hadn't come down yet. Now it's sitting at 1,600. It's crazy though. I mean, you look at Scheffler. I mean, Meredith has to have this baby this week.
I know.
So he can get to Valhalla by like Tuesday to start practicing, because that 350 number, I mean, it's just going to start creeping up the days this goes on.
Yeah.
You know?
No doubt about it. I don't know what I'm not looking at the odds.
I got it up right now on DraftKings.
What is Wyndham Clark?
He is sitting at 2,500.
Wow.
It's crazy too. Let me just rattle off maybe the top 10.
Second best player on tour right now outside of Scotty Scheffler.
I know. I think he was 2,800 last week. So you have Scotty at 350. You have Rory at 1,200. Rahm at 1,400. Xander at 1,600. He's always there at a major. Now you have Koepka up to 1,600. Ludwig, who withdrew this week, at 1,600.
Knee injury.
That's right. Yep. So that's going to move. You have Neiman, who's in, got into the field at 2,000. Then you have Wyndham Clark. Then you have Terrell Hatton at 2,500.
Wow.
He's way too high up in my opinion.
I think
for
so
this,
too.
but we'll see. Colin Morikawa, who I actually like this week. I think he's trending in the right direction. You have Bryson up on the board at 2,500. Cantlay 2,800. Victor Hovland at 3,000, who needs to figure stuff out quickly.
Those odds could really change depending on how he gets out of the gate on Thursday. It really could.
Yep.
Because these guys can find it really fast.
Like Cam Smith at 3,000. That's a pretty decent number for a guy like Cam Smith with his pedigree.
Yep. Finished T2 in the live event and just in time for majors or the big time major season.
They have Ustays in the field still on DraftKings.
Oh, really?
So I wonder if he was like, you know what? I'm in.
My obligations aren't that important.
Yeah. And you have Phil Mickelson at 150. Anybody else you want to hear, Harry? Anyone down the board you want to?
Trying to think of
where's Gooch? All right, I just saw.
Yeah, where is Gooch?
Gooch is at.
It's got to be pretty low.
He's at 100.
Yeah, 100. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Boy, that will piss him off.
He's tied. He's at the same odds as Tiger.
Oh man, come on! Seriously,
I swear.
Tiger may not be able to walk around for 4 days. Are you serious?
Yeah,
I wish you can get them in a matchup.
Yeah.
Decline to invite to PGA Championship due to personal commitments per
Louis.
I wonder if they just put everyone in. That
was 7 hours ago.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. But we'll keep an eye on this for sure.
Is Zalatoris in there?
Yeah, I just saw him. Zalatoris is sitting at 3,500, right behind DJ. Actually, even with DJ, right ahead of Thigala and Matt Fitzpatrick, who are at 4,000.
DJ didn't have a bad week this week on Live. He actually played pretty good.
I'm really looking forward to this PGA Championship.
Yeah, so am I.
I really, really am.
I'm taking Koepka. It's already done.
Wow, it's one. It's one and done.
Already
Look
done.
at you.
Yeah, because the odds are down from 20 to 1 to 16 to 1 after.
He is very upset with himself for how he played at the Masters. I know that, and he's looking to make his 4th PGA Championship. I mean, you talk about rarefied air. It would be his 6th major, which is rarefied air. I mean, I think this is he's had his baby. They had the baby. Everything's it's
It's
settled
time
in
to go.
now. Now it's time to go.
Get back to
Yeah.
business.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
feel it. I feel it coming from him. But we
Yeah.
have one more tournament before that, and it is a signature event, the Wells Fargo Championship, $20 million purse, 70 golfers, no cut, some past winners here. JT, Jason Day. We talked about Homa. We talked about Wyndham Clark. What's he going to do in this thing?
Love him this week.
Rory way up on the board at plus 650. But we head to Quail Hollow, Harry. Let's hear about the course, of course.
Yeah, Quail Hollow Club, par 71, 7,560 yards. Might be a little bit even longer by now. They keep lengthening it, but Wyndham Clark defends. McIlroy's won here 3 times. JT won the PGA here way back in 2017. They've had a President's Cup here. I mean, this is a big boy golf course.
Mm-hmm.
George Cobb designed this back in 1961. Tom Fazio came in and redesigned it. It is just a splendid property. Like once it was the largest dairy farm in the state of North Carolina. That's the property that they use to make it. They've now reduced it to 3 par 5s. Used to have 4. The 5th hole has been converted back to a par 4 for the big guys. But the par 5s are 7, 10, and 15. 4 par 3s, the 4th, the 6th, the 13th, and of course the 17th. The finish here is terrific. They call it the Green Mile, but I'm going to go back and start at the 14th hole because that's one of my favorite holes every week. If they have one, is a drivable par 4, and this is a drivable par 4, 345, ever so slight dog leg left. The fairway canters right to left. Water all down the left side, all the way through the green. Large trap, short right, would make for an uncomfortable long bunker shot to a green that runs away from you. And I tell you, the slope on this green is significant towards the penalty area. It's a great hole. The 15th hole is the last par 5. You had better score. You had better get at least a birdie, maybe an eagle, because the way in is not pretty. There's water all up the left side of a really receptive, wide fairway. If found, it's very reachable, 577 yards, uphill approach to a large plateaued green with 1 large trap in the front, 1 left and 2 further right. But you have got to make a birdie there at least, because then you go to the par 4 16th, which is stretched out to over 500 yards, a semi-blind tee shot to the fairway that turns left to right. And you got to avoid the right fairway bunker. Once then, you take a downhill approach to a really large green that slopes again towards the water. It's this same big body of water that has a lot of holes involved. Got a large bunker guarding the green's right side, and it's just a hole. Like if you make birdie here, like you played some golf. That's a par hole. Then you go to 17, which is a par 3 over the water, 200 plus yards, a downhill shot. With water all along the left and even in the back side of the green if you go over, because the green runs like front to back and right to left. It's a terrific hole. The 18th hole, you go up the hill and you're standing sort of up. The tee shot looks down, and then you go back up to the green, and there's a creek that runs all the way up and meanders down the left-hand side. It's a 500-yard hole. The creek comes into play. I've seen many guys, good players, hook their tee shots into that creek. It's dangerous, and the green is terrific. With so many different, pin positions and plateaus, it makes for a terrific finishing hole to a great golf course for the big boys. This is big boy golf.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And let's see the line. Let's see the line with our friends at DraftKings. Let's hop right into it, because the PGA Tour is in full swing. Get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting operating partner of the PGA Tour. This week, new customers can turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets on any golf bet. We talked about Rory sitting at the top of the board at plus 650. Got a little break with Scotty not being in there, and Xander 900, Wyndham Clark at 1400, followed by Cantlay at 1800. But download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code DING. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code DING. The crown is yours. How about a little our boy Ricky is having a little nostalgia, right, Harry? He went back to the old coach. He had his first win here.
Yep.
In 2012. He's got
Long time ago.
a T4, a T5. Give me him in a top 5 for 1100.
Wow.
Right? Give me
T5.
Give me him in a T5.
Oh my, I love
Nostalgia. A couple other guys we talked about distance. I need to see a little Tony Finau action. I need to see him do some things at 3,500. Seamus Power for a bit of a long shot at 130. And I wasn't going to take this, but when you said that Spieth is playing like ass, I decided to take Cantlay minus 130 in a matchup over Spieth.
Yeah.
And we also talked about Morikawa. I'm going to take him in a matchup minus 120 over Cam Young.
Nice.
A little bird told me that they were out at Seminole in a foursome, and they had Cantlay and Xander behind them, and they were like, "Hey, you guys are foursome there too. You mind if they play through?" They're like, "Yeah, go ahead." They ended up waiting on him. He plays just as slow in a regular round with
grass
another
grows
guy.
under his feet.
So
wow.
They said they were with like a couple like 20 handicappers, foursome. Let Xander and Patrick play through and we're waiting on those two.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
I was like, what?
Not surprised.
So yeah.
Wow.
You mentioned Max Homa before, Moose, and obviously got his first win here. He's now got 6. I'm taking him in the top 10 at plus 200. Justin Thomas, I think, is going to have a big week here. This is another place where conjures up great memories for him. He won his first of 2 majors here.
Home cooking.
Yeah, a little home cooking.
Close enough.
We'll call top 10 at plus 240. Yeah, next week is actually home cooking.
Next week
him.
is really home cooking.
But Brian Harmon, I'm taking plus 4,500 for the win. He also won here a few years ago, and I think is gearing up. Outside of his Masters, he's played pretty well over the last month or two. I'm going to take Brian Harmon at plus 4,500. Ben On in a top 20 at plus 140. He's playing great golf. I just don't trust him any higher than that. And Denny McCarthy also here, I think, plus 180 in the top 20. Wyndham Clark, I'm taking in one and done. I think he's the best player on tour right now when Scotty's not there, and Scotty's not there. And I'm taking Ben On over Spieth in a matchup at minus 120.
Interesting.
I like it.
Yeah.
Danielle, you talked about the Myrtle Beach Classic. It's a pretty good lineup when you look at it. Right?
Do you know, like Ben Griffin, he put out there, he's like, he just missed getting into the Wells Fargo. He's like bummed I'm not getting into that. Obviously, no cut $20 million purse would have been great. But I'm like, wow, like that's somebody who you'll throw a couple bucks on for the Myrtle Beach Classic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, EVR, Daniel Berger, right? Bo Hostler, S.H. Kim, Matt Wallace, who
I like Matt Wallace
really well.
Yeah.
Ryan Fox.
There's some names.
There are some names in there. And even down the board, like a Chesson Hatley, right? Like Robert McIntyre, who kind of seemed to fall off the face of the earth, would be a great place to get him started. So might have to throw a couple bucks on DraftKings on the alternate event. Well, wait, we're not allowed to call it that. Is it the additional event, right? Is that the PGA Tour
opposite field event or something like that? But
back nine.
Ryan Fox has been really disappointing with all these starts that he's gotten on the PGA Tour. I've been massively disappointed with him. Thought he'd play a lot better. But you brought up Matt Wallace. I'm taking him plus 400 in the top 10. S.H. Kim as well in the top 10 at plus 450. Novak, I like a lot. He's a good player, and especially in events like this, top 20 at plus 200. And Matty Schmid, top 20 at plus 240.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Playing all right. The Dunes.
Wait, you guys, what do you think? Is there numbers on if Nelly gets her 6th consecutive win this week? Is there anything on that?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Is it cognizant?
Yeah.
Yep. No, exactly.
Yep. She's got Scotty Scheffler out. I mean, she's plus 360.
Yeah. Wow.
She's plus 360 to win.
That is some Scotty Scheffler odds.
It really is.
What are your thoughts on it? Harry, you think she's going for a 6-peat?
Yeah, probably. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a lot of eyes on that between the 2 PGA events, and the seniors are playing a major.
Their first major
down in Alabama. Yeah. So I might want to watch a lot of that. There's a lot of golf this week. Plus I'm playing.
There sure is.
Yeah.
Is that wait, who's got Steve Stricker. Steve
Yeah,
Stricker's
Stricker.
got the
Region's
350.
tradition.
I'm trying to see, where is our boy Bernhard back to 3,500. He's actually, it's crazy coming back from an injury, and he's where he is on that board.
Yeah.
And he's not that far down. He's playing
No,
some
he's
pretty
not.
good golf. That guy is invincible.
He really is.
A lot of golf.
Incredible.
Hope
So
you guys
much
get
golf.
out there. Do your thing for Mother's Day. There's nothing says Mother's Day more than leaving your wife to go play golf. So
Right.
I encourage that to the fullest. And we will.
My
be
wife
back.
will be playing golf, and my mom lives in Florida, so I'm good.
Yeah, you're good to go. I'm not. So I will be at the Legacy Club though for a lovely brunch, looking out at people playing golf.
There you go.
It's awesome. Good stuff.
That's why you joined there, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. We will see you next week. Hope you guys get a chance to get out there and swing it and ding it.